now that they're all fixed fittings, they're made to be IP rated.
Getting nervous about me online. Welcome back to the Verified Build. I'm here with Phil today from P-Worth Electrical Services. Phil, how are you, mate?
Yep.
See ya.
Not too bad.
Phil is going to be responsible for all the electrics in the property, and today you're kind of just going on a bit of a tour, figuring out sort of where things go, right? Yep. And well, we've kind of decided on this. Have we decided on numbers of sockets and switches? Is it just pure location?
Pure location. So there's always scope that if we're doing it halfway through, we go, actually, should we get a socket there? Should we stick a socket here? Then we can always add on or take out as we go along.
From the looks of things, we've got hob, fridge, freezer, and things like that in this corner.
Yeah.
And then it's sink, dishwasher, washing machine on this side.
We get that kitchen plan over.
Yeah.
We can then plan our cable drops, make sure everything's within a zone. We're enough away from the sinks, we're enough away from hobs and all that kind of thing with our accessories.
Do you have to consider literally the run of the electrics then at that point?
Yeah, so we've got, we'll rip out all this so it's gone, it's old, and then we can make a decision as to where our cable drops are going to be in terms of where the kitchen is. This
property's been basically completely gutted, but at what point would someone know if they needed a rewire?
A lot of old properties have got one single socket in a room. If they were to said, okay, we want 4 double sockets in this room, it's easier to start again, you know, the cables are new, than try and find where that socket's been split off. Is there a junction box in the floor? Is there a fault on that leg from there to there? It's all down to testing, doing the homework on the property and then finding out what's best.
Is that like an indication on when things were installed last or?
Yeah, I mean, like if you look, that's all PVC cable. As long as that tests out fine, that's happy to sit there. It's not going to deteriorate. If you was to get into a building that had the old black rubber, for instance, where it breaks down, it goes brittle, insulation resistance is shot, it needs ripping out and starting again.
Can you tell that normally by like the fuse board or?
Yeah, and again the cable, so the age of the cable, if it's red and black we know it's good 20 years old, if it's blue and brown then we know that it's meeting from 17th upwards.
So we've got kitchen units sort of this side. There's no unit specifically in that corner. Is there scope to cover sockets for that side of things as well?
Sockets and then spotlights running through, so that ceiling's coming flush, isn't it, with the volts for the
Yes. We've got a new fuse board as well, a consumer unit, right?
All that'll get ripped out. That's the old Economy 7 board there, which obviously isn't in use anymore.
How old is some of this stuff?
This one I'd say is probably 16th edition, so that's probably within the past 15 years. So we'll install a new 18th edition, surge protected individual RCBO board, which will meet new regulations. And then each circuit is separately supplied then. No circuit interferes with another, so if the lights were to go, it would just take that lighting circuit out. If the sockets were to ever go, it would only take the kitchen sockets out, for example. It wouldn't touch upstairs, downstairs sockets.
If someone sees this and goes, that's what I've got in my house, do they need to get it replaced or is it fine? What's the sort of the age?
We'd go in, test the board, test the circuits, test each point, visually check it, and then make that decision on this needs changing, this needs changing, grade it. If you open up the board and it's like an old 3036 rewirable board and the cables are brittle and bending and snapping, it's put the lid back on, tell them it's not safe and, and plan for a rewire.
Is there ever a point where you would decommission the electrics?
As an electrician, you couldn't walk in, see something that's drastically dangerous and just go, that needs sorting, see you later. You'd always try and make it as safe as possible before you left.
It's at least simple enough to maybe not decommission the system, but like...
Try and make safe, yeah.
Even just thinking about electrics and dealing with that, I changed a socket myself once and that was a terrifying... I killed the power to the house, but for me that was the most terrifying experience because it was like, it feels so weird.
Got to make it now, everyone wants a TV on the wall. If they don't have a TV on the wall, it's a picture over the socket or something like that.
Will you cover that many switches?
I think we went for about 4 in here. And so maybe 1, 2, 3, and then 1 down here for a lamp. The lines need to be straight, the cables need to be straight within the zone. You know then if you're going to put a picture above it, if you've got a socket there, and you want to put a picture, you're not going to hit a cable. The socket going down in the hallway here, that light switch moving to here, which will do here, the landing lights and an outdoor light. So as you walk in, they're just...
Oh yeah, because we're getting outdoor spots and things like that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess all this will be ripped out and
this will all be gone and chased back in.
Yeah, so this is like a false kind of wardrobe that it goes deeper there, but there's like a fireplace here. I personally think they should come out.
Definitely cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely rip them out. There seems like there's a lot of sockets just kind of put in like that. Is that the previous owner just thinking easiest way here is to just slam a socket down there? Because that's not even chased in either, I guess.
Well,
so
he's used the surface mounted it, hasn't he?
A little bit of electrical tape at the top.
Yeah. We'll close that door back over. I think it's depending on which way the door's going, which I think will go against that wall there.
Yeah.
Switch will stay roughly where it is, and then it's just again socket positions on where the bed's got. These are coming out. Is the bed going back that way?
It's a tough one because the fireplace probably comes to about there. So that's kind of your width, but that's not barely a double, is it? Because in my head I was thinking, would you butt the bed up to this point and then want sockets in the corners there?
Yeah, a storage heater of some sort
at
some point.
Yeah. They must have liked that one because all the others have been left.
Oh really? I think we'll go 4 spots and a centre light in here.
What's the wiring like for that? Is it like individual wiring?
Yeah, so we normally wire to the switch and then just take switch wires and neutrals out. For spotlights, just for ease of wiring. A lot of them come now integrated spots with clip plugs. So you wire into the clip plug. For maintenance purposes, if you wanted to paint the ceiling after, you can just unplug them, paint, plug them back in. So again, depending on which way the door opens, switch decision, and then 3 sockets are in here.
Whatever was here previously got ripped out, but we're going to get that studded back in and a door put back in. When it comes to cable pulling and putting everything in, fuse boards, things like that, how do you like phase, what are the stages of?
So we do like first fix, second fix, final fix. We'll come in first stage, just rip out, get rid of all the old stuff. We know we're then starting fresh. Somebody's not going to pick a cable up 5 years down the line and chase a cable for no reason and then go, it's dead, I have to cut that in, cut that in. We'll rip out completely and then we'll start pulling cables in, wait for the plasterers to come in, do their bit, come back second fix, which will be for us is board on, power on pretty much everywhere else. Final fix would be, normally the kitchen comes in after, so we come in, finish off the kitchen appliance points. We'll do it in 3 stages, so we get the power back on and up and running. Spotlights is just clip plugged in the ceiling, holes cut out, plug on, so that final fix just finishes it off.
How long does it take for you to do those sorts?
I think it'll be about 3 days first fix, half a day rip out, get rid of everything.
Can you work alongside people, or do you need to just pull it through yourself without anyone else in the way? Like,
just learn to work around people. Like, sometimes you turn up and there's like 20 odd trades in there all trying to, the plasterer's still plastering before you pull your cables in.
One thing that people are really always interested in knowing, what is sort of the typical pricing for a house rewire?
Typically you're looking around about 4.5, 5 grand. This time a couple of years ago we were paying say £40 for a drum of 2.5, 100 metres. We're now paying £80 a door. Everything doubles. The years of having a cheap rewire are gone.
But in that price, it literally kind of covers everything from fuse board to socket.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it varies. You've got a house like this which is empty, there's no ceilings, there's walls can get smashed, to if you went into like a property where it's being lived in.
Yeah.
They need the power on day to day because they're still working. So you've got to work around that. You've got to almost run your cables in separate to what's going on in the house.
Do you consider that in the price that you give to a customer if they've stipulated that like, we can't not have the power?
Yeah, I mean some customers you say, look, can't not have the power on. That's what it is. Some say we're willing to move out for 2 weeks. You first fix, we'll get the plasterer put straight in. You come and second fix it, and again that it all reflects on the price.
I guess that's more about the labour side of things, right? Because it's just taking you less time.
And it's if you imagine you come into this room now and you've got a fully fitted wardrobe full of clothes, you've got a bed here, you've got a unit there, a TV, and then say I want 4 sockets in here. You've got to try and get a cable in here, get the floorboards up, move everything around.
And not make a mess.
And not break anything, not make a mess.
My shower, it's a bath shower thing, but I've got 2 spots, one of them's gone out. Do I pull that out and just take the bulb out, or like how's it?
It depends, like, again, we'll put like integrated downlights, so the whole fitting will be the light. But some of the GU10 ones, it's just a case of take the bezel off.
Again, paranoid about like the electrics in a wet environment, like thinking that if I pull this down, is it going to explode?
If it's outside the zone, it's fine. It's when you're in this shower unit here.
And would that be the whole light? That's the whole light fixing plus the wire side?
No, the cabling's gone. Cabling's in the ceiling, so it's classed as enclosed. It's just that front. Just make sure that the moisture can't get. If this is the shower here, you can't have a downlight here where you could get moisture inside the fitting.
Because weirdly, it's in my house, it's the bulb above the shower that's gone, but it could just be the bulb.
I mean, a lot of the times you'll look and you'll see the fitting. So a lot of especially the older ones, had like a glass cover on, which would have like a rubber grommet inside, that would act as the IP rating. Because your shower head comes down, doesn't it? It's not like you're gonna hose it round everywhere, so it's the moisture going up. So you'd have like a glass bezel on it. Now that they're all fixed fittings, they're made to be IP rated.
Getting nervous about it.
Don't stick your finger up inside there.
So when it comes to working on electrics or touching anything electrical, I know it's recommended that no homeowner should be playing with the electrics. Like, first of all, should a homeowner be able to change a socket, in your opinion?
I'd always say, if you've got a problem with your electrics, phone an electrician. It's what we go to college for, it's what we do day in, day out. We've got the equipment to safely isolate the consumer unit to ensure that circuit's definitely dead before the work's gone on it. Could have been labelled incorrectly. You could potentially, somebody could have took one socket up from downstairs, upstairs. So you have turned off upstairs, but the one that you want to work on is coming off the downstairs. Yeah, I'd always recommend that. Call an electrician out. Yeah,
I think that is a very valuable lesson for people. Phil, thank you very much, mate. Appreciate your time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can keep up to date with the progress. And until next time, we'll see you again soon.